Everything is going to be best of 7 in groups today, which is nice, and it's one of the advantages that's offered when you separate things into 2 different days. You can play more best of 7s, and of course, the more games, that's more bang for your buck, and also, generally speaking, the more games, the more consistent the results. So for round 1 here, we've got Splat Zones on Museum, we've got Tower Control on Moray Towers, we've got Rainmaker on Camp Triggerfish, Splat Zones on Port Mackerel, Tower Control on Anchovy, Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park, and then if it goes to Game 7, we have Splat Zones on Walleye Warehouse. So, what's your take? Splat Zones on Museum, that's the most played map in Splatoon, according to Solo Queue. So, what's your take?
Splat Zones on Museum. As somebody who has tried to climb solo rank, it really can go either way. It pretty definitively. It's going to be interesting to see the dynamic in regards to like for me personally, how they're going to how a team's going to take and keep it, or is it going to be very back and forth? I know Splat Zones has this tendency to be just a power struggle through and through, but there are some times where you lose it and can't take it back, and that's what I'm hoping to see a little bit of. I really want to see a domination. I just want to see utter control, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will, and I'm glad that you mentioned that it's such a back and forth map, because I remember in Psy Cup, which was that Japanese major that featured all Splat Zones, that was one that got played pretty often, Museum, and it just seems like every time we had just got done talking about how one team took the zone, the other team had taken it right back. It is so easy to lose the zone, and also, you're right, it does change hands very quickly. Yeah. Tower Control on Moray Towers. I'm really interested in seeing what License to Krill does against Power there. Of course, Power being one of the best snipers doing it right now. Yeah. So I think we're getting into the match, though, finally. So
yeah, it looks like it's building up here.
Yeah, finally there, starting off again in Splat Zones Museum. D'Alfonsino, what's your prediction here for the set? I know you said you wanted a 4-0. Do you think we'll get a 4-0?
I think we'll go... As much as I'd like to see that, I think I want to give License to Krill a little bit of leeway here, because obviously, personally coming in, not knowing enough, I do want to favor Deadbeat in this particular set. But, I do want to see some fight, and I would not be upset at all if License to Krill gets a few good, gives them a run for their money. That's what I'd like to see. Ideally, will I see it happen? We'll see. We'll see what happens. With this is a good map for Power specifically. He is really good with movement, and there is obviously he doesn't need to be on that zone very, very staunchly. I think he's going to be deadly, and I think they're going to have to try to watch out for him. I want to see how they combat that. But I want to see something out of him. I want to see a little fight. License to Krill definitely has it in them. It's whether that team can pull together and make it happen. But they're capable, so.
They are capable, as we see Flip hop in here. Just 2 more missing right now. See Power, Tudos in there. So I think the last 2 we're missing are probably... I know Tim is missing, and Ping It. So we're just waiting on Deadbeat right now.
Yeah.
Guess they're taking their sweet time getting in here.
But, maybe I am glad... sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe this is indicative, a little Deadbeat just kind of chilling out, hanging out a little bit, just coming in when they want to. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I am glad that you mentioned Power's ability to kind of move around here, because, this is a solid map for Chargers if he chooses to go them here. And he really does a lot of favors for himself by being able to move around and reposition himself. And that's been his brand since day one. He was always called that super aggro Charger. That's not quite as much as it was said before. Looks like we got a 5-on-3. Okay, there we go.
And it is worth noting, we are going to be following Smiley on Krill today, so we will be seeing against Power.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a time check real quick. So I'm at 49, 48, 47, 46. Where are you at?
I am a few behind here, but it shouldn't be too big a deal here. You got a few seconds.
Go ahead and count down.
34, 33, 32.
Oh, so you're actually a little bit ahead of me. So go ahead and, if you can, wait, you're watching from the regular Twitch client, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So then I'm the one who's behind.
Yeah, I couldn't get the magic to happen on some of these on some programs, so we're making do with what we can here.
Yeah, not the worst.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and it looks like we're readying up here. It's gonna be tight. I'm very excited to see here. I always get nervous on this load-in to Museum. This map haunts me.
And it is worth noting that if you are the underdog, it helps to get out to a very quick start. Yep. And we're going to see here, we do see that Dynamo Roller coming out here on the part of Smiley. Not at all uncommon to see on this map and mode combination. Just anytime you see Splat zones, it's a pretty solid bet that you're going to be able to get one. But already Deadbeat coming out in a big lead, although Kakashino going to go down there.
Yep, Kakashino went down pretty easily. And I think we'll see already Power's got a good Splat there. I think we're going to see him perch there for a lot of the match, just trying to take those hits out.
Yeah, not at all uncommon to see. We're going to see, I'm very interested in seeing where Smiley goes to position, because again, the Dynamo Roller very strong and can influence a lot of the map, but they have to be able to get to that spot first. And already you can see Tim so good on his pressure, just moving up there. You saw it a lot in E3, and you're seeing it again now. And already Deadbeat taking the lead back after they went down a bit at the start.
Yeah, there was a good push there in the beginning from License to Krill, but yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be very difficult to see a Dynamo really get in there where it needs to be and continue having a strong momentum. There we go, and we'll see actually a Splat from the Slosher. I think the Dynamo is just a little slow for this map, in my opinion. It's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it's difficult, especially with Power over there. You know, if you try to go for that ranged area, you have to be careful that you aren't too predictable, because Power can get around there. And we're going to see another close-range battle here. Can Power get it with the tap shots?
This is quite it. Oh, there it is. It looks like a little backup came in with the burst bomb from Kakashino, but, without that pressure, he may have gotten away with it. And we're seeing it come down to the wire here, 16, 15. It looks like Deadbeat might just pull this first. There we go. Tim got, but it is a trade. So,
yeah, perfectly okay with that trade. 3 down now on the part of License to Krill, and that was a very convincing victory. Once they got it, they just didn't let it go. And, it's like we said, that Dynamo having to get into position to have much influence, but really wasn't able to do that. And a very convincing victory for Deadbeat.
Yeah, that's kind of what we see, or what I was hoping to see a little bit, is that knockout there. And we're seeing, realistically, it just looks like License to Krill is having a hard time getting those key splats and getting the other team really a little bit shook, a little break them down a little bit, get them off that point, and being able to take it back. I think that's what they're probably going to struggle with here. But we'll see a little bit of a change up, hopefully. Smiley might, there we go, looks like he's changing. No, he's not convinced, he's not sure. There we go. He's changing it up a little bit, going to go with a Luna on this one, on Moray Towers here.
Yeah, not at all uncommon to see. And one of the other reasons that I was hoping that License to Krill could get off to a strong start is now we are going to see Power on Moray Towers, which if you thought Power was good on maps that maybe don't favor Sniper as much, it's no easier a task here on Moray Towers, though we do see Flip switching over as well to the E-leader, so maybe we'll see a little bit of counterplay. But I'll be interested here. Bronze and Smiley and Jext all going with a little bit more of a, offensive type weapon. And so I think they're going to do their best to try to get some pressure onto that snipe and maybe not let Power have that influence.
Yep, I think the big thing here we're looking at, obviously, they have 2 blasters. They have their charger. They have their would-be 10 attack. It's going to be interesting to see. Nothing that's terribly, uncommon. They're not playing outside of their norm here, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially when it's Power versus Flip over here.
Yeah, we're seeing 2 very similar team comps, the only difference being one stacking that Luna and the other one going with that T-Tech. So it seems like this has kind of become, the Moray Tower special here. You run your sniper, but then you keep it pretty aggro, and it's just kind of a game of move the charger, especially here on tower control, because, that sniper can just influence so much because they get to shoot at a very slow-moving target. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of jockeying here at the start.
Yeah, this is already very interesting to see License to Krill just sort of herded back, unable to really go forward and aggro, and already you'll see that just very slightly, but Deadbeat able to get a few points in on that tower there.
Yeah, a few points here, although 2 down for Deadbeat at the moment, now down to 1, and we might see a little bit of a counter push here. I don't expect it to go super far, but they're showing solid control of the middle as a trade with Tim. Not the worst in that situation, but it does look like the push is going to slow.
Yeah, it definitely does, and we'll see Deadbeat hopping back onto that tower there, making a push, and it's interesting to see. Kind of wonder where Flip is, where his mind is right now, knowing what he's going up against and sort of what he's trying to live up to.
Yeah, but right now, Smiley getting it done here.
Yeah.
That's going to be 2 out. This is going to be a chance for a counter push. I don't know where Power is at the moment, but it does look like Smiley here going to go off a little bit. Try to there. Okay,
there's where Power is. Right
there's where Power was. I like the decision that time to try to fish out wherever Power was. Unfortunately, fished out a Kraken, and that push is again going to stop.
Yeah, right now it's actually interesting to see getting Tim. Tim looks like the nemesis right now, getting a lot of trades with Smiley here. Interesting to see the middle zone back and forth until it looks like one good push from Deadbeat really is helping him to take that back every single time. But right now, Smiley doing some work.
Getting
those two in right there, and it looks again like he's going for the throat for Power, and just they expected it Kakashino with the custom range.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing. You got to keep your aggression on, but it can't be too predictable, you know? And especially Deadbeat, of course, going to be rocking a lot of quick respawn here. Just try to get back into this large map, try to get back into the action. And because of that, you can never go too deep because you know backup's coming. Takes out 2 doses here. And, credit to Smiley. Smiley stopped about 2 or 3 pushes by himself at this point.
Yeah, really solo running it now. We have Power. It looks like maybe climbing the wall over there, I believe. No. Sorry, he was on the tower there. We have a Kraken that climbed that wall there against Licensed Krill. Really putting pressure on. Then we got Tim right there. All right. Interesting. I think the biggest thing that we're going to see from Licensed Krill is a reluctance to really get onto the tower and make a push. I think there's maybe a fear of being wholeheartedly prepared every single time, but I think there may have to be some risks taken here.
Yeah, there's going to have to be, because unfortunately, when the opposing team is running quick respawn on a map like this, you're just not going to get a lot of time to get that ideal preparation. You've got to make things happen, and you kind of have to take people out as you're making the push. Unfortunately, that Kraken on the tower is going to be the last one alive. And we're going to see a jump back in, but again, just stalling ever so slightly. Yeah,
we'll see Tim actually, Smiley couldn't quite pull off his aim there, and Tim got the splat. So we're going to see, again, Deadbeat's starting to get back on that tower and make another slow push forward here. And they have to take back some of their turf here. It looks like Deadbeat's really pushing on them and really making their movement capability a lot less than what it should be.
Right, and it's so difficult when you go down this heavily so early, because the onus is entirely on you to play aggressive. But when the opponent knows that, they can just kind of set up their defenses and do whatever they like to try to stop you, or they can keep going with a more aggressive approach, as we see Tudos and the rest of Deadbeat doing in this situation.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. They've pushed them off. It is essentially 2-3 right now, though. So it's there we go, and we'll see that. It looks like that custom range is really been difficult. Kakashino there taking out most of the team. It's only 1 person, 2 people to 4. I think they're gonna push past their 38 for Deadbeat here.
Yeah, with just over 30 seconds left, it's really not looking good for Licensed Krill right now, as that custom range blaster just so deep in their zone right now. Just gonna stay right there until given a reason not to. And again, we still see all 4 up here from Deadbeat. And you hate to say it's over till it's over, but right now, just not looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you never want to call it too soon. There have been comebacks through and through, but that was hard to. They really couldn't keep away, right? It really seemed like Deadbeat was pushing and pushing and pushing and really relentless. It's interesting to see Power with a 5-3 though. When we see Kakashino really was out there, maybe making the trades, getting the splats. Whereas we saw Power take a more aggroed role, a more forward role than what I would have expected. But it seemed like that team knew that they could do that. They knew that they could move forward and just keep pushing, keep the pressure.
Yeah, and when you have that custom E-leader there, it's a very popular strategy to put your sniper on the tower there because they can kind of support you as you've pushed your teammates deeper. And of course, they have that Kraken to help push the tower if they need to. But now we're moving on to our first Rainmaker map. Rainmaker on Camp Triggerfish. There's a lot to say about this map. You can go down the main street or you can go the slightly quicker point-wise netting on the left side. So we'll see what ends up happening here. We'll see... yeah, moving over that heavy splatling, not surprised, but okay, well, maybe not.
Yeah,
the games we play.
Right. It seems like there's a little bit of back and forth on, okay, well, I'm going to play this, so you play this, and well, no, maybe I won't play this, and so we're going to see that on License to Krill, there's a little bit of trying to get things figured out. I will say that Rainmaker is a mode that can end very quickly. Depending on how well your defensive capabilities are or your offensive pushes are. I'd be interested to see how well Deadbeat does or how well License to Krill does it. You know, do they aggro and do they cap it quick or not? It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it would not surprise me whatsoever if we see two T-Tech. You see two techs here on the part of License to Krill. It would not surprise me if we continue to see those two T-Techs coming out from the other side. And no, we're going to see Tim moving over to the 52 gal. Yeah. Great weapon for this map. Walls, whales, you know the drill. It's great here. So I agree with you. It's going to be important for License to Krill to not go down big early like we saw last time. They've got to just hold strong until their opportunity shows. And we already see them getting pushed back. None of them going down quite yet, though, so that's a good.
Yeah, they know how to avoid getting splatted as of now, but we'll see. Maybe, unfortunately, looks like Deadbeat's going to actually run their left-hand side or the right side. Already getting points on there after Smiley's splat, and we're going to see really what they do to counteract that.
Yeah, and you saw two in the middle go down. That means that's two less that could be on the right side defending. And right now, Smiley really not able to influence a whole lot. Going to have to find a way over to that left side, but he can't because Tudos is here again to put on the pressure. And even if Tudos isn't able to get this kill, this is still a big distraction that's important and going to take away the focus of the Inkzuka. So only a push to 58 right now, but, you know, this is what we were hoping wasn't going to happen at the start.
Exactly. And realistically, you know, I will say a wasted Inkzuka is never good, and especially when you Inkzuka against one opponent. But you see Deadbeat knew what they were doing there, and they had their one distractor out. Now we'll see a push actually from License to Krill. Interesting. Well, looks like they're getting pushed back 86-58. If their team can rally here, we might see something.
Yeah, I believe there was a whale there on the left side that kind of stalled that out, and another whale coming this time, going to take out the Rainmaker. But yeah, they're not in a bad situation. If they can take Tim out here and get him off of this, as we see Pengit going to go ahead and just take out one, maybe two. I don't know. Okay, he did get the second one. All right.
Yes.
So, but you know, you have to like what you saw there. They were able to push that away, and they were actually able to take back their entire netting side there, as well as taking back mid. So they've shown that they have the counterplay capabilities, and they do take out the Rainmaker again there. So this has been their best game by far, I'd say.
Absolutely. The Rainmaker's actually not moving against their favor right now. They're able to, you know, Tudos had it for just a hot second, but to be fair, it's not moving for anybody. So that is worth noting. You know, they're not. Deadbeat's not moving it away, but it's not getting any closer yet either. They still have about 2 minutes and 35 seconds, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, they did have one squid advantage there. That pesky whale again going to slow things down. If Smiley can get a cut, oh no, Smiley unfortunately going to go down there. That was huge. You see 3 down now on the part of License to Krill, and this very powerful position they've worked for themselves might fall apart here.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty, not a great jump in my opinion, but it kind of put him in a position not to have much move capability and really be sort of surrounded. But yeah, we are seeing that Rainmaker's moving against License to Krill, if not to the middle there, sort of a reset, if you will. But we're seeing License to Krill pushing back on it.
Yeah, and what's so frustrating about that is they've done such a great job of taking Deadbeat's elbow there on the side. And when you take that, you really have a lot of influence over the map and over your pushes, but when you lose it, it just kind of all falls apart. As we see the Rainmaker again moving to the License to Krill's elbow this time, and we'll see if this Inkzuka can get it done. Not quite. Going to go the other way with it, and once again, that Inkzuka not doing a whole lot as this Rainmaker keeps pushing.
And that it's worth noting that custom range blaster really being a deterrent for Smiley to even look in the direction of the range. It looked like Penguin just sort of keeping him at bay, keeping him away now. Well, we'll see Smiley at the helm here. The team, the squad here running with him, pushing him forward. They still have a long ways to go, though.
Yeah, a long ways to go, and unfortunately that timer not their friend right now. Just over a minute left to play. But, you know, again, License to Krill has shown that they definitely can take it. I see two people over on that elbow side. They're going to try to move it that way, take that elbow, avoid this killer whale.
The double whale.
No!
The double whale. That was a well-coordinated move.
Yeah, and right now it's him by himself here on this elbow. And yeah, I wouldn't surprise it if Tim goes for the solo push here. Just try to drain a little bit more time. Nobody really in position to stop him at the moment. No. And just really difficult. Power finally getting its highlight shot that we've been waiting all set for.
All right.
And 30 seconds left. Looking pretty grim.
It is looking pretty grim right now. They're going to have to make a really... And again, the team has shown that they are capable of making the moves, but unfortunately, there we go. Power coming out again, not even showing himself before the splat happens.
Yep, just over 10 seconds left. They've got to grab the Rainmaker. They've got to at least earn the opportunity to continue playing in overtime, but they go down again immediately. And I think we're going to have to move on to Game 4.
Yep. I think right now License to Krill feels that pressure, and I think the late sub 1 minute gameplay as far as how hard they're pushing and where they're going. And the one thing is worth noting is you know, Smiley knows, you know, where Power's at, and he knows he's got to move him. He knows he's got to get rid of him. But we'll see at the end just not being able to capitalize on those moments.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. The KD doesn't tell the whole story. That was, I actually liked that jump that Smiley did when they were making that push, because you saw that Deadbeat really didn't know that it was there at the moment. The two people around were shooting the other way, but unfortunately not able to pick up those two splats. If they'd gotten those two splats, we're talking about a whole different game. They would have gotten to play more defense. Might have made it a little bit harder for Deadbeat to make the push that they did.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's amazing how just one moment can change the entire course of the match.
The risk reward there.
Yeah, it was a lot of risk reward, and that's, you know, that's one of the reasons why you run stealth jump, is sometimes you just gotta hit that super jump button and see what happens. But we are gonna be moving on to Game 4 now. If Deadbeat takes this, it'll be a clean 4-0 sweep. We're gonna move on to Splat Zones, Port Mackerel. What's your take here, my friend?
I think that this is the worst thing you could, you know, solo queue, worst rotation you could ever have. Port Mackerel, obviously two very distant points. And this is all about not losing your head. And in my experience, it's very easy to forget that you have your home point when you take the far away, you know, the away game. So it's gonna be. I can't wait to see how License to Krill divides their team up and how they keep defensive while pushing as offensively as possible, because it's very much a balance of both. And as we're hopping in here. All right, we're gonna see. It looks like we're gonna see actually Power rolling with a different charger, and it's gonna be interesting to see. Obviously, this is the favorited charger for Poor Mackerel.
Yeah, absolutely. Power. One of Power's greatest things greatest assets is a sniper. He's able to switch between, you know, the different ranges of the E-liter and of the splatter scope pretty flawlessly. So not at all surprised to see the go there. Penguin going to go with the regular slosher here. I believe they have double ink strikes on Deadbeat, so they're going for that long range type of you know, just influence over the map, even if they're not necessarily there. Because like you said, it is so easy to get spread out here and difficult to focus on both sides.
Yeah, we're going to see here, unfortunately, that you know, we're going to see Smiley, I believe, running a P2 Gal and not being able to really capitalize on any splats yet that he maybe should have had. And so that's going to allow Deadbeat to really have dominion over that initial splat zone right there.
Yeah, Kraken going to come out here, kind of put things, you know, alleviate a little bit of pressure, but really the threat is still there. I believe, okay, finally able to take out Penguin. This time, Power going to pick it up, but at least, you know, they've got some defense here. This map, it is so difficult to get back in if you get bottlenecked, even in a mode like Splat Zones, or maybe especially in a mode like Splat Zones. So, you know, you just got to see him take out Tim here. Very nice. And they've just got to take this back, and they've got to do something, but Power says no.
Yeah, you know, not to, again, ride that train too much. Power is obviously, well, he's quite strong on this particular map, and I think a lot of what this is going to be is knowing the lanes and knowing where he's at and knowing maybe not to go there or how to get him away, or else you're going to see a lot of those bento splats from a distance. So.
Yeah, and it's really difficult too because you're keeping track of power. You just know that Pingit and Tim are going to keep coming in. Pingit has spent seemingly this entire game in the zone. And
his movement is astonishing.
Yeah, really. It truly is. And I think this is just going to, Deadbeat's just going to continue rolling with this strat until given a reason not to. We finally see some control. I believe that was a trade. 2-2 on both sides.
Smiley,
we're going to see a little bit of a push. Yeah.
There we go.
For a push here.
Unfortunately, it looks like they lost their home turf, so Smiley heading back to base here to see what's going on.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen what had happened there. I guess they just brought in a couple, and yep, power once again. Picking the right lane to go to, taking out Smiley. And this is just clinical. This is clinical.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is how every solo queue I've ever played has typically gone. On this particular map, it's just so difficult to keep both and to keep focused. But that was a good splat for Pengit, for Smiley there. And it seems like they've pried their hands off of it, but it's just going to be so difficult to see a comeback at this point.
Right, you can't even really easily stack on, it's not like one of those one-zone maps where, you get a couple things going your way, you can kind of put the penalty on the other team. You have to take both to even put a penalty on, and once again, Pengit in the, oh no, this time Tim, but Pengit's still in that zone. Now Tim going to clean it up as well, and...
it's going to come down, yep. This is going to be the 4-0 that you predicted here. And you know what, License to Krill, they did what they could do. And you have to give them that much, that team, Smiley especially, they knew what they were doing, but just capitalizing on some key splats and really being able to, you see Power there, obviously 5-0, and he was the big reason I would say a lot of them couldn't get by. That being said, Smiley really was getting out there and doing his best to go out there, get that second zone, and well, that's how that works. So
yeah, that is how it works. The amount of times, against these top teams, the amount of times you have to, I guess you could say, outplay them. It's not like against these top teams, one little mistake isn't going to win you the match. You've got to continually outplay them consistently over time, and it's a very difficult task to do. So again, License to Krill, they gave it their best, and it's a group. The good thing about groups is they've played the best team in their group. I mean, if we're being honest here, they've played the best team in their group now. That was their first match. They can look at that. They can kind of look at what they have up against next, know that, okay, top 3 teams make it to the next stage. We've lost to a team that we were probably going to lose to anyway, and now we can focus on the teams that we know we can beat. And, I wouldn't at all be surprised to see them turn it around in the later rounds.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's unfortunate to go up such a strong team, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that doesn't say anything about you as a team. You just went up against a team that is equally, if not as skilled as they come, and that happens. And we'll just see how things happen later for them. I would be excited to see maybe a close jump up the bracket there.